the Chancellor took the unusual step on Monday of summoning journalists to Downing Street. I think it was 7:30 in the morning. They were told to turn up for a speech about 8:15 in the morning, in which Reeves basically stood up and said, "I can't confirm anything yet," but then, proceeded to, well, this would be unfair to say she ripped up Labour's manifesto, but she certainly did not offer any commitments to the key plank of the manifesto of not raising income tax, not raising VAT, and not raising national insurance on employees. So just for context, if this does happen, if income tax, the basic rate does go up, she'll be, I believe, the first Chancellor to go back on a manifesto commitment on income tax since Dennis Healey in 1975. I don't know if you remember that, Smitty, yourself.
Oh, I remember it well. I was just getting my first pint at that point, I think. I was only 3.
But the point being, I'll just throw this out to you both. I mean, do you think voters will understand why, if indeed it does happen, why income tax has to go up?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, you against it. There's a very strong argument for putting income tax up, right? And there's a very good argument for imposing wealth taxes on the very wealthy, and there's a very good argument for trying to get our hands on the massive amount of wealth that's being created by all the tech companies who are running rampant throughout the world and making fortunes in the process. There are arguments to be made for getting some of that money into the public realm and trying somehow to make our public services and just the country feel richer. I mean, it feels like we're getting poorer. Now, that's because the money in our society is being sucked up by the super rich. Now, the state's got to try and get its hands on the money. There's a good argument for putting tax up, and there's a good argument for broadening the tax base beyond income to try and get more money.
Do you think the public understands these good arguments?
But here's the thing. Those arguments should have been made at the election by Labour. And Labour needs to have since the 2007 financial collapse, capitalism collapsed in 2007. Labour, since then, has been desperately scrambling to try and re-establish an order which had failed. Left-wing parties and left-of-centre parties need to provide an alternative view of the world and a proper alternative. And the lack of that alternative is why we see right-wing nutters like Farage entering the scene. Now, that argument should have been made at the election. The fact that it wasn't, and the fact that they're now going back on that, is monumentally catastrophic for Labour.